today we're going to get right to it. Let me turn that oven on. I forgot. Let me see here. Bake. Okay. So it takes a minute for her oven to heat up. So I had to turn the oven on. If y'all see the red live in the upper left-hand corner, that means you are watching the live. If you do not see the red live in the upper left-hand corner, that means you're watching the replay. Please do hashtag replay in the comments. Make sure you are following and subscribe to my page. Make sure you like it so you can be notified when I go live. And so today we are doing salmon. I'm so excited. Let me get this out of here. Okay, so I got the Mediterranean herbed salmon from Aldi's that we're going to use today. But I'm also going to be doing my own like seasoning on it with balsamic vinegar and the balsamic glaze and garlic and some lime juice and stuff. Honey, definitely honey. So this is what we're going to be putting on it, just to kind of let you guys know. We are going to be putting some avocado oil, our salmon fillets, salt and pepper, of course, some butter, some garlic cloves, minced, which I haven't got them minced, I just got them peeled. A little bit of the vegetable broth, some lime juice, which I've got some, see, I got my lime, which I did the, got the skin, zested it. I zested it. I knew I would think of it. Let me go let these girls in. Lime zest, some fresh cilantro for at the end, and some, wait, let me get my 3 tablespoons of honey, a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. So there it is. Let me let the doggies in. I'll be right back. We go let the little girls in, because it's warm out there today. Come on, my girl. Out there today. Come on, my girl. Come on, ladies. Come on, Dad. Daddy, come on. Good girl. Good job. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I had been. It's pretty warm out there today, so I don't want to leave them outside too long. Okay, so let's pray over this food and get this party started. Okay. Father, we thank you for this food. Bless my hands as I prepare it. Bless the hands that bought it, and bless every mouth that eats it in Jesus' name, amen. And it looks like it's just going to be you and me today. Okay, so let me read our directions here. Okay, so preheat the oven. Line in baking sheet with parchment paper, which I did. Place the salmon skin side down on the sheet. Sprinkle with salt and pepper. Whisk together the honey, the vinegar, brown sugar, and garlic in a bowl. And the lime juice, right? Wait a minute. See, I've combined 2 recipes, so I have to make sure I get it right. We gotta make sure. Hi, Jeremy. It's beautiful here today, too. It's really warm out. It's about 90 degrees here today, so. Okay, so add the butter and garlic when the butter has melted and cooks. Oh, and looks foamy. Stir in the broth, the lime juice, the honey, the cumin. Mix the mixture, simmer, stir in the cilantro, add the salmon, pour it over. Okay. Okay, so this is, all right, so, okay, so the honey. Okay, here we go. Are y'all ready? Okay, so it looks like we're gonna go to the stove first because we have to cook this stuff, and I'm gonna make a stir fry. So let me get a little, let me get another little pan here. See, just when I thought I had it all set. Okay. Okay. He's got an amazing stove over here. Okay, so let's go over here, and I'm going to turn y'all around. Did I turn it? No. Just a second. Okay. Whoops, I touched something. Y'all already know. Okay, let me set you there for a minute. There we go. Let me turn this light on. So we've got, there we go. So we've got a little light on the subject. Okay. And then let me do this. There we go. Goodness. You okay, Cricky? Okay. And so I'm going to put y'all back here so you can see what is happening up here. Okay, now we've got our oven on, and we are going to do our, okay, let's see what it says us to do. I'm going to set this over here. Okay, so it says in a skillet over medium-high heat, heat the oil. So we've got to make sure we're on the front because we don't want to melt our, okay. So we're going to go down to a medium, a little bit of olive oil in the pan. So let's do a little bit of olive oil right there. So we got our olive oil in the pan. And then it says, heat the oil, season the salmon with salt and pepper, add to the skillet, skin side up. Cook salmon until deeply golden, about 6 minutes. Okay, then we're gonna remove the salmon and put it on our baking sheet. So let me get a knife here and cut our salmon open right here. There we go. Okay, now this salmon that I am using is an Atlantic salmon, and it's Mediterranean herbed because I really like that one. So that's what I'm using. So it says skin side up, so that's the skin, or skin side down. So we're going to put that in there just like downtown. Okay, let me wash my hands because I kind of touched it. Okay, so once we do that, we're going to add our butter and our garlic. Okay, so I'm going to set my garlic there for right now. So let's make sure. Okay, so we have to cook this until the bottom is golden. And then once our salmon is golden underneath, we're going to set it in our baking sheet, which is this. And I've got it lined with parchment paper. So I'm going to set that over there. And we're going to wait for that to get nice. And I already have my dishwater ran over here. So while that's doing that, I'm going to get out my veggies that I've already got pre-cut, just so they're out. And the veggies that I am making is zucchini. Oh, the oven's up to temp. The veggies that I'm making, yellow squash. We're gonna put them right there. Okay. Zucchini, yellow squash, onions, and tomatoes. And then with our salmon that we will be putting in the oven, we are also putting some sweet potato in there that I have sliced, as you can see. I've made little slices down it. And I will also pour the balsamic honey glaze that we're going to make. After we remove the skin from there, we will pour that over our sweet potatoes. That will set on the same tray as the salmon in the oven. So let me get my little, there we go. Okay. All right, so the only thing that we want to do with this is we want to brown the bottom of our salmon. And that's all that we want to do with this on our stovetop is brown it. So we're just going to let that cook just like that for a few minutes. Let me make sure you guys are turned right so that, there you go. There you go. Isn't that better? There you go. Don't want you to see my stand. You can see that really good. There we go. Okay. Okay. And now I'm going to check it because I think that's good. Okay, I'm going to remove our salmon. And I'm going to put it over on our baking sheet over here. Whoops. Almost knocked it down with our sweet potatoes. So I'm going to set our salmon over here. Just like that. Okay, let's set that there. Okay, now let me set that aside and go back to the drawing board. And now we are going to make our balsamic glaze. Okay, which I'm going to set our salmon in the oven with our sweet potatoes while we do our glaze. Okay, so now for the glaze, we are going to add our butter and our garlic. So let's see how much butter. Calls for 3 tablespoons of butter. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we've got our butter, and it calls for our minced garlic, which I'm just going to slice and put in here, because instead of mincing it, I want the little slices. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. I love to make my ancestors scream, and yours too. So there we go. And Brenda too. Brenda's at work. So it's just you and I, the horses and the dogs. So there we go. Let me slice this. Garlic on here. Turn you a little bit. There you go. Whoops, that piece went flying somewhere. Denise will find it another day and yell at me. So there we go. Okay, so now we've got our butter and our garlic in with the oil that came from the salmon and the olive oil that was in there. So now it's melted. It said do this until the butter is melted, and then stir in the broth, the lime juice, the honey, and the cumin. So the broth, we need a 1/2 cup of broth. So let's see. And I seen her measuring cups, I think, up here. Yep, sure did. Ooh, way tall. I'm sure little Richie usually gets them down for her. There we go. Okay. Now let me do a half a cup of chicken broth right there. So there's a half a cup of chicken broth right there. And this is the broth that I'm using right there. Okay, so that's a half a cup. Let me set that aside and put this over here. There we go. Okay. Okay, so a half a cup of chicken broth, a quarter cup of lime juice, and lime zest. So I have my lime zested just a little bit, and I'm gonna put that in there. Right there's my lime zest, and then my lime juice. And I'm just going to, this was the only juicer that I found that Denise had, so that's what we're using. And we hope we get a quarter of a cup out of it. And I think we are. See, it's a little spout. It's because we didn't see a, and I'm surprised because Denise and Richie always make these exotic drinks. So I probably didn't look in the right place, but I didn't want to go through all her stuff. Okay, so there's the lime juice. We'll set that aside. And then 3 tablespoons of honey. So, yes, I'm going to guesstimate 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's our 3 tablespoons of honey. Next, I should probably stir that. Okay, and then the honey, and bring the mixture to a simmer and add cilantro. So we're going to bring our lime juice, our chicken broth, our garlic, and our butter to a boil, and then I will add my cilantro that I've got like destemmed. So we need to bring this to a boil. So I'm going to turn her up a little bit. Bring it to a simmer, it says, but the quickest way to do that is on a higher temp. And I did turn it down just a tad bit. There we go. You can see some of them herbs in there from that Mediterranean herb that came with the salmon. So we're gonna stir this. We want this to come to a simmer, like a low boil. And then while we're waiting for this to come to a simmer, what does it tell us to do? After this, okay. Let's see. And then it says to add the cumin, a half a teaspoon of cumin. Okay. Okay, this is happening. So let me get our cumin. How much cumin did it say? A half a teaspoon. Okay. So I've got to do a half a teaspoon of cumin. So there. It's about a half a teaspoon. So we'll add that half a teaspoon in with our juice. Just a little more. Okay. And then we have to add our balsamic vinegar. How much balsamic? A quarter of a cup. So let me get my little measuring cup here again. Okay. So this is our balsamic vinegar that I'm using right there. And I got a quarter of a cup. I'm going to pour that right in there. Just like that. And brown sugar. How much brown sugar do you say? Let me grab the brown sugar while I'm over here. Okay. Let's see. 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. So let's do 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. Okay. Let me set that up there. Okay, now we got to stir that all together. And I got to add some of my cilantro. I said to add the cilantro to that. So there's our cilantro. And then what? And then, okay, let's see. And then simmer until the sauce has reduced. Okay, so now we're simmering to reduce the sauce. Just like that. And I'm going to turn my oven up to 400. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to, this is our honey balsamic glaze that's going to go over our salmon and over our sweet potatoes. I did not put salt and pepper in here on purpose because the chicken broth that I'm using is not unsalted. So I figured the sodium, can you hear the little girls? The sodium in the chicken broth, I figured that would be absolutely enough. So we're gonna let that simmer. And I'm gonna turn that down on a low and let that simmer. And then we are going to move over here. Because while that's going on, we are going to make some stir-fried vegetables. So I have some butter and some olive oil in there. And then I'm going to turn on, there we go. And we're going to melt that butter right there. Oops, let me see if I can. There we go. There we go. Make sure y'all can see that pan good. Okay. Everybody good? Everybody seated? Alrighty then. We're waiting for that. Let's do this. Here we go. And this is our stuff. There. And that was our cilantro. Okay, there we go. And this is the veggies that I've got, like a half an onion. And I have 1 yellow squash. And I've got a couple Roma tomatoes. And so, there we go. This will go in the pan. Let me set that there. All right, and put you back up here. There we go. Okay, so our sauce is simmering. And we will do our vegetables. Okay, so that butter looks like it's melting really good. There we go. Okay, and now we're just going to put our vegetables right in the pan. There's our zucchini, our yellow squash, and our yellow onion. Just like that. Put my bowl in the sink. And I will turn that up a little bit. There we go. And now these veggies, I will do some black pepper. Right there. And I will do a little bit of our chicken broth and a little bit Parmesan on our vegetables after. You know. Okay, let me stir our sauce. It's looking really good. It's starting to reduce. It's simmering slowly over here. It's looking good. It's looking mighty fine, y'all. Okay. So, got our black pepper in there. And oops, I turned it too high. Okay, there we go. So we want that to cook a little bit. After that is cooked a little bit, I've diced some tomatoes, and we will put some tomatoes in there also. Okay. Stuff over it. It's looking mighty fine, y'all. Looking mighty fine. Okay, I'm just checking to make sure. You already know. I forget stuff sometimes. Okay, cilantro. Okay, brown sugar. Very nice. Okay, so our veggies is starting to cook. And I didn't put a whole lot of yellow onion in there on purpose. So I'm gonna just divide that. Just like that. Just because it bothers, onion seems to bother Brenda's stomach a little bit because of that eye branch or whatever that medicine is she's on. So we only did just a little bit of onion. There, it's all separated. And she will be able to pick around that onion if she doesn't want any. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna stir more sauce. If a car goes down the road, the girl vehiculars as they go by. Okay. So we just want to stir fry these veggies up. That looks like a piece of onion. There we go. Piece of onion I didn't get divided. There we go. Okay. Okay, now, in these veggies, while they are starting, I have some balsamic glaze. And I'm just going to put a hint of balsamic glaze in our veggies. Okay, so let me open this. There we go. We're going to squirt just a little bit, just enough to coat. Look at that. Just like downtown, son. And then we're gonna move that around all of our veggies. Just like that. And just let them cook. Yep, not too much, just a little bit. Just as you guys seen, I think I probably put maybe a half a teaspoon in there. Just enough to give it that rich balsamic glaze flavor so that it will go with our honey glazed balsamic salmon. because it's very important that it match today. There. Okay. So I'm going to put a little, about a quarter of a cup of our chicken broth in there. And we're just going to let that, there we go. Okay. And we are going to let that cook just like that. Just like downtown, y'all. Say it, just like downtown, y'all. See, just very little chicken broth we put in there. Get that down in there. There we go. Try to get that glaze off the back of our spoon. Waste not, want not. Y'all already know how I roll. There it is. And a little bit. Okay. Wash my hands. Okay. And now I'm going to put our tomatoes right on the top, and I am not going to stir it. I'm just going to put them right on the top. Just like that. Just like that. Oops. You don't call me Grace for nothing. No, let me pick up what I dropped. There we go. Okay, now I am going to, our glaze, well, and so while that's doing that, oh Lord, see if I can open this. Okay, I gotta open my cheese. See, I'm gonna have to get a spoon under the lip and make a pop because I don't have to open it. There it is. Do you hear that? Okay, so while this is cooking, I'm going to sprinkle some of my Parmesan right over the top, just like that. You can put as much as you want or as much as you don't want. That is up to you. Okay, so we are just gonna let that cook. Okay, now, while that is cooking, we're gonna come back over here because we are going to pour. Oops. So while that's cooking, we're gonna come back over here, just like that. And we're gonna pour this over our salmon in just a second. Oh. Let's see. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to, so one of the things I'm going to add here, just because I can, which came out of Richie and Denise's garden, are these little tomatoes. And we're just going to add them right to that. Oops. Just like downtown. There we go. Right there. And we're just going to let this come to a full boil again. Just like that. And then I will pour this over the top of our salmon and our sweet potato that is in the oven. I will pull them. Okay, so that's cooking up good. Our veggies are doing good. Okay, we just want this to come to a boil. Again, it has reduced, and it looks like it's reduced about halfway, which is what it's supposed to do. I like tomatoes, can you guys tell? Yeah, then we'll be so pretty in there. Okay, we want this to come to a boil before we pour it over the top of our salmon and our sweet potatoes. Okay, so what our veggies are doing is steaming them tomatoes and that cheese that's on the top, just in case you didn't realize why. And we're not going to stir Them veggies. We want the zucchini and the yellow squash to cook without simmering, without cooking our tomatoes down to nothing. Do you know what I mean? And these we are not going to smash. We want them whole. We just want this to come back to a full boil. I want that to come to a rapid boil. Let me see. Here's her up here. Is her look at her. Look at Denise's pot holders. A hippo. I think it's a hippo or a cow. Probably a cow. And this is just a... I thought that was kind of groovy. That she had... Okay, so that's coming to a nice boil. And that's what we want. Okay. I think it's just about time. It was the oven, ladies. It was the Minnie Mouse. It was the oven. So Richie's wife, Denise, is crazy. I'm going to turn this off because I feel like that has come to a nice boil. And I'm going to move it over here out of the way so that I can pull our salmon and our sweet potato out of the oven. Okay, and our oven is on 400. So here's our salmon right there and our sweet potatoes. Y'all can see them, yep. Okay, so just like that. And the salmon will cook before the sweet potatoes are done. Just so y'all know. And that's okay because we will pull our salmon. And now we're going to pour our sauce over the top of our sweet potatoes and our salmon, just like that. Along with our tomatoes that I threw in for later, because I can only be one-handed. Y'all already know. So I'm going to move some of my tomatoes over here. There we go. Okay, now I take a picture because y'all already know how I roll. Look at that. So that is our sweet potatoes and our salmon with the glaze over. You know, she has a light up here. Look at that. And let there be light. And that is our garlic. Over there, look at that. Looking pretty. And there's our veggies. Cooking up mighty fine. Okay, so we're going to put this, whoops, we're going to put this back in the oven. Okay, let me get her little fun pot holders on my hands. And this is going in the oven. And that salmon will cook in the oven for about 20 minutes. And I will pull the salmon and we will leave the sweet potato. So, hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Nope, Siri won't do it. So it looks like we're going to have to set a timer on here for 20 minutes. There we go. Start. Okay. So we got our 20-minute timer going. Now we are going back to the veggies because it is time to do these. There we go. There's our veggies. That's what they're looking like so far. And now we get to stir. Oh, son of a gun, that spoon's hot on the end. Dang. Still hot. Well, I'm going to use her glove because you guys already know. They do not call me Grace for nothing. So I'm just going to move all that around. Just like that. And I do not know where her lids are. So I can't cover it unless Let me see here. Here we go. Let me look and see. Maybe in the closet in here. Perhaps where they used to be. Yep. Okay. So I found the lid. And now we're just gonna cover this. Oh, I know. I did want to do a little cilantro on top of that. Just like that. And we're gonna cover it. And we're gonna let that cook. Just like that. There it is. And there will be pictures. There will be pictures to come. I will make a short video. Thank you for watching. God bless you from Mama D's house to yours. I will see you later.